And I said, okay, well, can I make an offer? And then I threw him a number and I said X amount over floor. And he responded not long after and he said too much. And he dropped the multiple from the floor down substantially. And I was like, this guy's got to be out of his mind for not taking what my initial offer and countering with a lower price. So I was able to finish the entire DeLorean set with the mint number 11111 for, maybe overall 5 to 6x from floor.
Wow. Such a sweet guy.
Yeah. I mean, like, a very considerate person. And then, like, the only thing that he asked was to see if I could help him find another collectible or two. And I'm still in the process of doing that because,
Man, I love that. That's how you know this is gonna be a fantastic episode. Welcome back to VeVe Vantage Podcast, everybody. In this episode, we'll be talking about how MisterV used metadata and some help from great members of the VeVe community to hunt for his special mint collectibles, and also how the mint matching set that he spent months and over a year to accumulate helped him to make money during this VeVe bear market, and how you can do the same. There's a lot of insight today. Let's get to it.
So I have maybe 2 or 3 people that I'm speaking to on Twitter who are much smarter than me when it comes to being able to deep dive into metadata. And then they've also shared with me how to seek out particular collectibles on Mutascan, right? So normally I would target the drop days, and you could search by the day and the hour and minute
Okay.
of when purchases or transactions are made, like whether somebody sold it or purchased it, you can follow. And you have to look on a computer in order to be able to see the mint numbers. So some of it is time consuming if you don't know the specific wallet address of the previous owners. And it's, I haven't had to do too much. And now there's a new website or a new app for people who have iPhones.
VeMate?
Maybe VeMate offers the ability to find out who owns which particular mints of specific collectibles. But this app called Token Hunter
Oh, wow.
has paired the IMX wallet to the VeVe account holder.
Wow, that's really cool.
And the person who's in charge of it is constantly updating it on a day-to-day basis, which is insanely impressive and insanely time consuming. But and shout out to them for doing that.
This is called Token Hunter?
Token Hunter version 2. And it's only for people who have iPhones, I believe, or maybe Macintosh devices. But it's free for anybody who has an iPhone, and it looks amazing. Unfortunately, I'm an Android guy, so maybe it's in my best interest to invest in an extra phone, kind of like how you did it, right? Now I have all the reasons to buy an iPhone, so that's a huge help for anybody who's looking to do that. But I had to do it by going on the Mutascan, checking out the drop day, and kind of clicking through all of the drops until I find the mint. But that's insane. That's super time consuming. And
so let's just say you're looking for mint 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so you're looking for this mint 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the latest collectible. You let's just say that you find the address. How do you connect to that person?
Oh, then you would have to see what other collectibles that they have in their wallet.
Oh, okay, right.
And kind of search the market, collectible by collectible and mint by mint, to see if there's a match that they're looking to sell. And then you could see what the VeVe username is.
Oh, okay. So that sounds done.
It's almost like reverse engineering the whole process.
Yeah.
It's time consuming, and you've got to do what you got to do sometimes to be able to find these collectibles with specific mints. But now that's a dated approach. And fortunately, there are awesome resources like Token Hunter version 2 available to ease that whole process. And, if you're a mint collector, then you've got the keys.
Yeah. So I thought so shout out to Token Hunter V2. I have never heard of it, and I wonder why people don't talk about it. But you should also check out VeMate and see if they are available on Android. I think they are, because they have that specific functionality as well.
Yeah, I'll check out VeMate. I just
Yeah.
found the user, the Twitter handle of the person who made it.
Hmm.
Their handle on Twitter is CED as in dog, MRX, M as in Matthew, RX. So CEDMRX at CEDMRX. And this person is the guy or girl responsible for creating Token Hunter version 2.
I
Yes.
thought it's really cool that people spend a lot of time building these products, which I think will reward them in the long term because a lot of people will be using it. But also, there's folks who will match the Twitter handle or the name of that person to the Scan wallet as well, which you probably be familiar with, right? Like you found like min 5678 of this X collectible. You go and you find, oh, this guy will owns it, right? So there's people who are creating this like spreadsheet or tiny database of the wallet of the top 200 whales or something on the app, and then match their names to it. And
Oh, right.
yeah. And for my particular case, there was this guy or girl. The username, I think it's a guy. The username on the VeVe app is straight, STRAIT. And the reason why I wanted to mention him is I want to give him a shout out because a while back he posts, this is like last August, so August 2022, he posts his photo of like the top 100 VeVe whales and the NFTs that they own and how much they added or sold within a month or something like that. And that was kind of like mind blowing to me because I've never seen that kind of data before. Like I know from looking at people's account, but that's like for individual case, right? Like there's no way for me to know this X person owns these many collectibles. But long story short, he sent me this list. This is back in August 2022, so a lot of it has changed, but I wanted to validate it. So he was saying, oh, Dr. Profit is number one. At that time, he had 39 AF15. I don't know the rarity, probably like secret rare or something. But anyways, Dr. Profit had 39, probably the common edition. But he was number one. This is August last year. Mr. Rolex was at number 5. So there are two names that I'm familiar with. The first one is Danny Boy Lack, who was an interview guest on my channel. Shout out to him. So I asked him, hey, do you have these many NFTs in your account just to verify? And straight got pretty close. And then I reached out to the second guy who is also a silent whale in our chat. Like he used to hang out quite a bit last year in 2021, but we don't see him that much anymore. And he was as of last August, he was at number 3. So he was the third biggest whale on VeVe. And it's Tomko Hoko. So reach out to him because he's in the army group and ask, and he verified to me. Like he said like, oh, he was at number 3 at some point, and then at that time when we were talking, he was at number 4 because he hasn't made any purchases recently. So I thought that's really cool.
That's some impressive work. I don't know how people do it. I know that there's some people who are very savvy with tech. They know how to run scripts and just kind of leave the computer alone for a couple hours. There's another person that I talked to, and he kind of explained how he operates to be able to find specific mints. And he actually helped me personally find, a good amount of things. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah, shout out to them. I'd rather not name drop just out of respect for their privacy, but it's a tall order, especially like when VeVe doesn't have any other way to help us out find specific mints. I know that metadata is transparent, but turns out right now they're still not transferring, they're still posting like what collectibles are minted and when, and along with the mint numbers and everything. So it's not say for example, there's a new drop this week and you could see some of them on Immutascan, but you cannot see all of them.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah,
Is that the are you talking about the older drops because they haven't fully migrated everything to IMX?
right. It's all
Oh,
in like weird, just this. It's all disorganized in a way that, in the sense that they're showing the collectibles and the meta collectibles or comics and their mint numbers on a mutascan at random times. So they're not doing it collectible by collectible or comic by comic. They're just doing it in random batches. So it's
right, yeah.
So even if I go back a month or 2 months for a specific collectible, but with a mint that I'm looking for, there are plenty that still have not finished showing up on a Mutascan. So I'm at the mercy of waiting for that information to be posted online with IMX.
Right.
It's pretty frustrating, but in this game of mint hunting and collecting, you might have to wait a year or two. And I've been rewarded for my patience with being able to finish some super rare sets with the same mint. So I know how it is, and I'm learning along the way too. So just like with many other parts of how VeVe operates, it's just a matter of time and being patient, and the people who are most patient will hopefully be rewarded.
Yeah. Without revealing too much details, can you tell me about a time when you went through that metadata rabbit hole and actually successfully purchased a collectible? You don't have to name of the seller or anything or the price. So like, I think based on what you mentioned, is like you found this address who owns this mint number that you were looking for, right? And then you asked your VeVe friend to, well, you identify a mint you want to hunt. So you go ask your friend to find out the owner or the address of that seller or of that owner. And then what you would do is like you would go look at the other collectibles that he or she owns, right? And then if you identify, oh, this particular that this guy Will owns is currently on the market, let's go and look up the name in VeVe. And then you would click on the name, and hopefully there's gonna be like a Twitter handle or something like that. Is that how it works?
Oh man, I've got a whole mess load. I don't want to mix them up, but I'll just share like one or two successful experiences. So one had to do with the DeLorean, the first edition DeLorean set.
Was that a set that you had all three variants with the same mint?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Good.
So the mint number was, and I think it's cool, and I'll explain why. So the mint number was 11111. And the reason why I targeted that mint was because I was thinking the DeLoreans, like with the DeLoreans, you might be able to, or any vehicle for that matter, you might be able to have your license plate in the metaverse or VeVeverse show your mint number of the vehicle. And I know that
I can see that happening. I can see that happening. Yeah.
Right? And I know that there's some people in real life that like to have those confusing license plate numbers, like zeros and O's or L's and ones, to kind of throw off like people, like so that they can't really decipher what the license plate exactly was, which is pretty funny. So I thought I'd play on that, and I waited a good while, and I found one of the variants, and I found the owner on Twitter, and I negotiated a price. It was very reasonable. And then like a week later, another rarity of the DeLorean popped up on the market for several hundred over the floor, which is just it was ridiculous. So I waited about a month or so, and then they eventually dropped it a good amount within like a buying range. Let's say I bought that. So I had 2 out of 3. The third one I saw on the market several months before, but it disappeared because it was just way too close to the floor, and I couldn't find it. So I asked this person, this metadata specialist, to help me find who the owner was. And within 2 or 3 days, they got back to me because they're a busy person. But anyways, they got back to me, and they shared the VeVe account holder who had it.
Wow.
And
shout out to this person.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I was blown away.
Yeah.
And this was my first experience of realizing what the benefits of being able to access metadata was. Anyways, so I think I tagged them in the feed, and I shared my Telegram info, and they messaged me not long after. And we got to talking, and I said, "Hey, are you willing to sell this collectible?" And they said, "I don't think I would be willing to let it go for a reasonable price." And I was so discouraged because I went through a good amount of the first two. And then I said, okay, well, I have this personal habit of if I cannot complete a set with a specific mint, and I know the person who has the last mint that I need, I'm just like, okay, well, if you're not going to work with me, then I'd rather the entire set be with at least one of the two of us, right? So I said, all right, well, I'll let you buy these two off of me, so at least the entire set is complete. Because it'd be a shame for it not to be completed,
Right.
especially
Yeah.
at work, right? And they declined. They said, no, we're okay. Like, or they said that he was okay and would rather not. And I said, okay, well, can I make an offer? And then I threw him a number and I said X amount over floor. And he responded not long after, and he said too much. And he dropped the multiple from the floor down substantially. And I was like, this guy's got to be out of his mind for not taking what my initial offer and countering with a lower price. So I was able to finish the entire DeLorean set with the mint number 11111 for, maybe overall 5 to 6x from floor.
Wow. Such a sweet guy.
Yeah. I mean, like, a very considerate person. And then, like, the only thing that he asked was to see if I could help him find another collectible or two. And I'm still in the process of doing that because,
Man, I love that. That's kind of connection. That's gonna go a long way. Like, you help me this time, I'm gonna help you next time.
Yeah. And, full disclosure, I opted to consolidate between the different IPs that I have. So right now I have exclusively two types of IP, and Universal did not fall under one of those IPs. So I ended up working out a deal to sell that set, but the set is together with a new owner, and I think they're a top 5 or top 10 wallet on VeVe.
Oh, okay.
But the person is very considerate and very amicable, good person, very kind and nice to talk to. So at the very least, I'm still in talks with the new owner, and they have a phenomenal collection. I think their account is private, but of the things that I've sold to them alone, I've sold a whole lot of nice mints in pursuit of my most recent stack. And I don't feel bad about it because I think it was a very strong play on my part long term. But yeah, this person's got an amazing collection that was my first experience with using metadata to find a particular collectible under a specific username and then tagging them in the feed and being able to communicate with them.
Man, that got me curious. Okay, I'm not gonna ask for the name of this whale because I respect his or her privacy. But this sounds like that's pretty crazy. So he's a top 5 whale, so he's certainly a quantity guy to be able to get there, and he's also collects special mint. So he has both quality and quantity. That's tough.
Yeah, I wish I was in their shoes, but you've gotta do what you gotta do to reach your goals or meet your objectives, right? And for me, I everything that I've done has been super intentional and calculated, and I don't regret it. I don't regret it one bit. For now, I'm okay. I may regret it later when people start to really seek the DeLoreans, and I don't know
when you actually line them up, the 3 variants, and you only see one, the whole 3 vehicles. Oh man, that's gonna be pretty cool.
That's gonna be an awesome flex piece. Or
100%. So you don't have to answer this, but did you break even or did you make any kind of profit from selling that set?
No, I broke even. I pretty much broke even.
Okay.
And that was critical. That was crucial. So yeah. I came out unscathed.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really good because I remember you were chasing those 3 variants a while ago, back when the prices were higher, and now being able to break even during this bear market when things are a lot lower compared to a few months ago. That's pretty good.
That's something else that I think people are maybe overlooking is when you buy nicer mints, they're a lot easier to sell in a bear market. People are more inclined to go after those. Even when the floors are not moving for a specific collectible, if you have a nice mint of it, you're more than likely going to be able to peel that one off, sell it sooner than if you had a random floor mint. Because
you know what? Like when I talked to you for the first time, knowing that you are a special mint collector, to be honest, I was like, man, if there's a bear market, this guy is gonna have a hard time selling his special mints and he will take a loss on them. But then now I was thinking back about that example and a type of buyer who would, spend money on these special mint. these buyers don't care too much about the bear market, right? This is their playground. Like this bear market is like their dream, right? Especially if they want specific mints. This is their opportunity to get them. So that, yeah, like knowing about these examples kind of changed my mind a little bit, because a top 5 whale probably doesn't care too much about a bear market. If he wants to get that mint, he's gonna get it, right?
Yeah, I would say that from many conversations with these, I'd say top 25 wallet holders that I've had, many of them are not necessarily adding fiat. A lot of them are also consolidating as well. However, some of those pieces, those bigger pieces, they can sell pretty easily, or they might sell a whole bunch of like meaningless collectibles with random mints if they stacked some things and they found another opportunity in newer collectibles, right? And so like with this particular whale, they were selling other collectibles in order to get the gems together to buy a lot of the things that I was selling. And like if I'm not a top 25 wallet, I'm not even a top 500 wallet. I don't even have like 300 collectibles overall. But it's whenever, as a special mint collector, when I do sell a nice mint, I usually am making a lateral move. So like during a during a bull market, yes, I was paying a premium on the collectibles, and it's all relative to the floor, right? To the floor prices. But as this bear market has been developing, the floors have almost across the board been dropping fairly evenly, right? And so in order for me to be able to disassociate myself from these collectibles and detach myself emotionally or financially from a financial standpoint, I have to keep things in perspective of what the floor prices are. So if I bought, I don't want to get into too specific examples with dollar amounts, but so if I bought something for 2x floor, for example, Steamboat Willie Ultra Rare, I bought my mint for 10K. That mint was, and that what 10K was 2x the floor.
Back then, when you bought it. Yeah.
Back then. Today, the floor is like $330 or 330 gems, right? So 2x of that is 660 gems. And then if you start looking at things from that kind of perspective, like, okay, if I sold it for 660 gems today, that would be a break even in a sense, right? And I could buy multiples of something else using that kind of money. So I've come to understand that
if you would think about it under the lens of percentages.
Yeah, percentages.
Yeah. Like a Todd was 14,000 over a year ago, and now it's like 900. So like, but the percentages wise, yes, yeah, you're right. Yep.
Yeah, and like also I sold my only Todd for that Steamboat Willie, which was 2x floor. So like I sold a Todd at floor for 10K. And then I bought the Steamboat Willie at 2x floor with that 10K. It sounds insane. It sounds disgusting today to hear
but
that.
it was insane back then too.
Yeah. So
today, well, sorry, that transaction didn't sound insane back then. It was just everything was insane back then. So I just wanted to clarify my points. Go on.
Yeah, the floors and price action was wild. So today, if I was to compare the two, so Todd is selling for just under 900 gems today, and Steamboat Willie is selling for 330 gems, 350 gems, let's say. I paid 10K for that Steamboat Willie. Today, and Todd was 10K, Steamboat Willie was 5K. I paid 2x for Steamboat Willie. So that was my play. Today, Todd being about 900 gems and Steamboat Willie being about 330, 350 gems, 2x of Steamboat Willie's floor right now 660 to 700 gems, and the Todd being 900 gems. I lost out like on that, whatever the percentage is of the 200 gem difference, if that makes sense, to match the floor of Todd today to 2x of what Steamboat Willie is. However, I've been able to add crazy value by matching the mints with the entire set of that Steamboat Willie collection. So I was
you have it. You have the whole 3 variants with the same mints, right?
Yeah, and there's like
okay.
As of right now,
next level.
I only know of like 3 or 4 people now who actually have the complete set with the same mint. So I was also talking with another special mint collector who has an insane collection, who's clearly got a lot more money than I do. I was asking for his opinion very frequently, and he was saying that, as the more you match those mints from a particular set, you could add some multiples to the value.
Yeah.
So if my special mint Steamboat Willie was only 2x floor, because I matched up the other two collectibles in that set to it, I could easily charge, I'm just throwing out a random number, I could easily charge 5x to 10x or more. It just
I can see that. Yeah.
Depends on the buyer, right? So that's where that value is. I was able to create value by matching up the mints. And truth be told, it's the mints that I have, it doesn't quite matter as much as just because the fact that I was able to match them all is a huge task. It's a huge undertaking in itself. If anyone else was to do the same with any other random mint for that set, especially the more collectibles in a set, the more difficult it is, the greater value you create for your portfolio if you choose to sell it later on. Like, so for me, I had no intention of selling that DeLorean set. However, I created so much value in that set by piecing it all together. I did the work for a future holder of that set, and it made it that much for me to move it.
Yeah, because for guys like that particular whale, like spending hours, not even hours, days and months, if you want to match the whole set, that time, because he's probably extremely wealthy, right? That time for him probably is worth way, way, way more than what he's paying you today, especially if he really wants it, right? Like for a guy like him, an hour of his time is probably worth a couple $100 easily, right? So instead of waiting, negotiating, which can be a bitch sometimes, right? And that feeling of, oh, I have two, this other guy doesn't want to sell the third one, that's going to take him even longer. But now he has that whole set nicely packaged coming from you. That's going to save him way more than what he paid for. And that's going to make him like this, his collection looks way, way better.
Yeah, it's amazing. It makes for being liquid during a bear market very simple. I've had zero issues selling my special mints, like to the point where I've gotten as many gems as I needed, not as much as I wanted, but as much as I needed in order to be able to make those lateral moves to add even greater value to my collection within those certain IPs that I do have. And now my collection, I'm very proud of what I've been able to piece together. And a lot of it is because of the work that I did. So I front loaded all this work into matching sets and finding these nice mints for these buyers during the bear market. And it's made me extremely liquid to be able to do whatever I needed to at this time. And yes, I did put hours and hours into it, lots of sleepless nights, lots of money, dollars to it. However, the opportunity cost that I've created for myself during this bear market has been phenomenal. It's just astounding what I was able to do. And just like these guys who I've been selling these nice mints and nice sets to, I've been able to do much of the same. I've been able to offer multiples from the floor to people who have these nice mints that I was seeking and acquire them and just enhance my collection, add further value. And that's what this is all about, I think, right now during this bear market, just adding value where other people may not see it.
Yeah, I certainly didn't see any value in having a set with the same mint until today, to be honest with you. I mean, like, first, we don't really see it, like you have it, right? But then I don't get to see it unless I really go look for it. And then, well, I've mentioned this story one or twice, but like I saw Grubber B having like set of all four collectibles having mint 45 and 98. And I thought that was cool. Well, this is going to look good in his vault. But then like think about it from a return on investment side is pretty crazy to think about, because yeah, you are enhancing that particular set a whole lot, but at the same time the buyers, they don't mind paying money because that feeling of missing something, or like that opportunity cost of them spending their time that costs hundreds of dollars, even thousands of dollars, hunting 1 or 2 extra mints. They would much rather pay you and get the set. Yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's just that's just that whole DeLorean experience was just one of countless experiences of mint hunting.
That is it, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope that you have learned a little bit from MisterV's journey to collect specimen collectibles, the importance of metadata and asking for help from the community, and how awesome people can be. Keep in mind that nothing we talked about is a financial advice. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a like, a review, a comment, anything, tweet us. And last but not least, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the actionable and valuable insights, everything VeVe and OMI related. Thank you so much. We hope to see you again next time. Peace.